hello, and a very, very warm welcome back to Garden Club. Here we are in the first week in December. December is where the sun is shining, the sky is blue today, and it's glorious. It's a glorious, glorious December day. It's, as always, so lovely to connect with you like this and to share some of the joy of the garden and the outdoors that I feel with you. You know, things happen that lift your spirits and sort of raise your raise your spirits. This morning I was talking to a lady and I was showing her this pansy. Here we are. This one here, it's just a very normal, ordinary pansy. And we were talking about this pansy and she was saying to me how awesome nature is, how awesome creation is, how wonderful it is to see a flower like this, and how in that flower you can see such beauty and such depth and such wonder. And you know, it was lovely to hear that, because that's exactly what I feel all the time. It's just so marvellous to see that. And then something else I'll show you. Let me something else just now. A few minutes ago I picked up this pot here, look, and this is a pot of lobelia. Now it's December, all right, this lobelia should be dead, and well, it is a little bit dead here and there, but look, it's in some places still blooming, and I think lobelia is gorgeous actually. It's just so lovely to see flowers when they continue blooming like this. It's lovely. Actually, strictly speaking, although we grow lobelia as an annual, actually it's a half-hardy annual. It will actually go through the winter sometimes, because in its natural state I think it's a perennial. But anyway, that's nearly finished now. It's only a month. In fact, it's probably 5 weeks until we sow the lobelia again. I can tell you that lobelia will have been sown in the first week in January, because we do that every year. The lobelia crystal palace and your begonias, we always sow that in the first week in January. Whether we'll do that quite next year, we might swap things around a little bit, because I've got some exciting plans for us, but we'll see. So it's a glorious day today, and I'm talking too much, but I wanted to share that with you, that joy that there is in the out of doors. And so today, what are we going to do? Well, we're going to plant our final crop of Sweet Williams, a variety called Excelsior. I'm going to put a picture up so you can see, and basically they're the classic Sweet William. So think classic Sweet William, and that's what we're planting today. And we're also going to plant some lovely Muscari, the grape hyacinths. I know some of you don't like that, I'll mention that in a minute, but they are glorious, and again I'll put a picture up so you can see them, and I don't know what is not to love about them. So there we are, that's what we're going to do. Let's get on with it. So now, time to plant the very last crop of Sweet Williams we're planting for this year. That's our 4th one. We're going to be really well Sweet Williams by the time we get to the spring, April, May time next year. They're going to be lovely. All Sweet Williams are lovely. This is a variety called Excelsior. I'll put up a picture to show you what the Excelsior look like. They're a real classic Sweet William. If you have in your mind's eye what a Sweet William looks like, this is what a Sweet William looks like. So we've planted all sorts of fancy ones, but here you are. This is a Sweet William. I usually tell you a story about how Sweet Williams get their name, but the more I look into it, the more I discover that there's all sorts of confusion and complications about how a Sweet William got its name. So some people would argue they're named after the brother of George II, who they called Butcher Cumberland, the Duke of Cumberland, who did some rather nasty things to people in Scotland after the uprising in 1745. But then you can probably find evidence that it was called Sweet William before that, so it doesn't really work as an idea. Anyway, whoever, Sweet William, they'll be lovely, whoever they're named after. There you go. Sweet Williams, lovely. All done now for the year. So now, the next thing we're going to plant, I've got a suspicion that one or two of you are going to turn your noses up at this because you don't like the look of them. But I think they're lovely, and I really hope that I can convince you when they come into flower that they're lovely. Because we're going to plant some Muscari, or grape hyacinths. Now I can already hear around the room some of you saying, oh, they grow like weeds. I've been trying to get them out of the garden for years and years. Well, if they're a weed, they're a very, very beautiful weed. Glorious blue flowers. I think they're just adorable. So I hope you'll forgive me. There we are. Now, we put them in quite a small pot because we want them to be a clump together, because they look so much better like that as a clump. And they're quite a big bulb to go in a small pot, but the 5 of them will fit in there quite well, just down under the surface a little bit, not too far, and that'll be absolutely great like that. They just nicely fit. You might think they're a bit tight, but actually it's okay like that. They're good as a clump. So when you're planting them, don't be worried, they're okay. Pointy end up, obviously. Don't need me to tell you that, do you? And they'll be lovely. I'll put a picture up of what they're like. They're lovely. As I so frequently tell you, you already know that I'm daft. So let's just add a little bit of daftness to it. And if I tell you that when I was a youngster, when I was a child, I used to look at grape hyacinths, and I used to think they were the ideal sort of plant that a little man would come out from under, you know, a little gnome or a dwarf or a whatever, you know. Okay, yes, daft as a haddock, that's me. Absolutely daft as a haddock. However, that's what I am. So, grape hyacinths in the pot, going to be lovely in the spring. Yet one more thing we've tucked away for next year. That's lovely. So a couple of weeks ago, Liz was busy potting on the ranunculus, and look, from those tiny ones, they're now this big. Look at that. But what is also really exciting is over here, look. These are the little ranunculus right at the very beginning. We call them claws, ranunculus claws, and we're just planting these in trays of compost now, and they will very, very quickly sprout, and as soon as they start making a little bit of green, we'll transplant them into pots like this, and on they will grow. And ranunculus are beautiful. They'll be absolutely wonderful in the sort of late spring, absolutely perfect. People talk about them as being the rose of the spring, and these are marvellous, marvellous. So there we are. That's the whole process. Liz is planting them out there now, just putting them in just to give them a start, a head start in the greenhouse in the warm, and then she'll pot them on, and after a few weeks they'll look like this. Fabulous. Thank you, Liz.
You're welcome.
Is it cold this morning?
Very.
Ah. Oh dear. Right you are. Thank you. And so there we are. There's a little something from Garden Club for this week. The first week in December. And it is so good to be with you. So lovely to share with you those things that we can be doing at this time of year. And there's lots more for us to do before we get to the end of the year. And then, those of you who know me well will know that the beginning of January is my favourite time in the whole gardening year, because it's when we start sowing the seeds for the summer. Many years I spend weeks and weeks saying to you before we get to the end of January, the end of December, that it's my favourite time when we start sowing the seeds. This time I've managed to get to the beginning of December before I've said that to you. You'll have to count up and see how many times I say, I'm so looking forward to the beginning of January till we sow the seeds. You count them up and see. But until next week, until we can garden again, I'm looking forward to it already. And so do take care. And bye-bye for now. Bye-bye.